My name is Keneth Martinez and I am a pastor in the Washington Conference. I grew up in Mexico, and since I was a little kid, I kind of wonder if I should become a pastor. However, all of the stories from pastors being called into ministry were sensational. They heard a voice, they saw an angel, and I never had that kind of experience. So without knowing if I were called into ministry, I decided to become an engineer. Microsoft extended an offer for me to become a software engineer, and in 2011 my wife and I came to the US, and I attended church in Washington. As I was doing that, the question, the wondering, hey, should I become a pastor, never left. So because I like studying the Bible, teaching the Bible, being involved in ministry, I decided to study a master's in theology online. As I still was working in Microsoft, I said myself that this would be just for fun, because I want to learn more about the Bible, about Hebrew, Greek, the original language, all of that. As I was studying, though, I realized that I really enjoyed being part of this line of studies. I really enjoy thinking, dreaming, designing ministry. I remember a line from a book by Edmund Clooney, and he said something like this: if you have received a spiritual gift, then you have the responsibility to use it. Because I was studying church planting in this master's, I decided to why not propose it to my local conference to plant a church, a second church, this time thinking specifically on young adults. I created a whole plan. I submitted the proposal to the Washington Conference and they approved it. In 2018, I started planting Refuge Church, a young adult church in the heart of Seattle. The idea of this church was for young adults without Christian context, without Christian background, people that I interacted every day at Microsoft, people from all different races, from all different backgrounds, that didn't really take seriously the Bible. That's the people that I had in mind. So my wife and I, a few other friends, we planted Refuge Church, and I was the lay pastor. One of the most amazing moments in my life was the first baptism that I had the opportunity to do. I baptized one of our friends from Microsoft, and she was happy to be part of Refuge. Time went by, and even though I was still working at Microsoft, and I was doing interviews for applicants, and I was going to places, conferences. I was developing Office, if you ever use Xbox or Office or Windows. I was doing that. My passion, my calling, what I enjoy doing the most happened on the weekends or maybe at night, my work at Refuge. So I think that there was a conviction in my mind. I need to become a full-time pastor sooner or later. And the Lord answered the prayer, I guess, because the president of the Washington Conference one day called me, I think it was this year, 2022, and he said something like, hey, we enjoy what is happening at Refuge, and we wonder if you would like to become a full-time pastor. I didn't know what to say, but somehow I already knew the answer. I knew that I was supposed to be doing this since a long time ago. So I went driving home thinking, how would I break the news to my wife? Hey, Adi, that's her name. How you like to work a lot harder and make a lot less. I knew that my decision of becoming a full-time pastor would affect my wife, would affect my two children. It would, one way or another, affect the church that I planted, Refuge. And I was starting my pitch with her, but she cut me off and she said, when do you start? Because even for her was evident that this was the calling of my life. My last day at Microsoft, I think, was June of 2022. And then I started doing full-time ministry in Refuge, the church that my wife and I planted, that right now is doing great, and another church plant called Triumph. In Refuge, we're not still a whole church, we're a company. We started with a Hispanic core, but the more time goes by, the more international it becomes. We have people from, 8, 10 different countries. And it's growing, and it's fantastic, full of young adults, and I'm so excited about what the Lord is doing at Refuge. Triumph is still maybe a step behind as a group, but I'm also excited about what the future holds for Triumph. I'm also excited about what would the Lord call me to do for the rest of my life. I'm still learning. I feel, a newbie, but I know this much. I want to continue doing this for the rest of my life.